All right, good morning. Hope we all had a great weekend and working on this Monday, huh? But it was a good weekend for us and felt good to finally get on the field. Talked a lot about it, and I think you guys were running out of questions to ask at some point here because it was the same ones and not much to go off of with all the new staff. But it was good to get out there on the field, and I thought really pleased with the way our guys just sustained the energy. I'm not talking about just during the game, but really all week long, and got more and more excited. And then just really from the beginning to the end, a lot of focus. We got a lot of guys on the football field, and really felt like they were all ready to go. And again, never going to be perfect, but and a lot of things we can work on. But I appreciate just where we're at right now, and it kind of tells us where we're at and what we need to be taking to the practice field here this week. But a lot of different things popped up. I think maybe even a question or two has been asked just about the communication and how that headset thing all went down at the beginning. That was something, you've had crackles and you've had times where it goes down for maybe 3 seconds, but just really having to change things up there, that was new. I think by play 2, we had our left tackle, left guard, and center all out of the game for play 2. So some interesting moments in there, but just guys really worked through it, just keeping their poise. That includes coaches, Coach Sheridan having to come down from the press box and then go back up and trying to figure out if you're going to get caught in the middle of that. And we'll be fine that way. It's just there is a lot of communication that does happen, not just from him to the signalers, but others as well, just getting personnel in the field. So we were fine. We were fine. It's just different than the normal protocol. So I think red zone, different parts of the game that we really excelled in was good to see. 4 for 4 offensively. Took a knee there at the end, and then defensively, not giving up any scores on 2 attempts when they got in the red zone. The 2 takeaways early with Keon were really big with the momentum. Really, got the crowd going in kind of about 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it was, where we take the field and everyone's ready to go, and then all of a sudden that delay in the action. So Keon's takeaways and a sack there early really got that momentum and energy back to our whole football team. So really pleased with where we're at week 1, and looking forward to making those big steps that I think usually exist going from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, two, if I can. First, what did the prognosis show for Caden Proctor? And also, when you watched the film of the offensive line, what did you see in terms of things you really liked and things to improve on?
Sure. Caden's got a shoulder situation there. It's one that we will be able to manage, and so that's a positive. And it was just something as we go through the week that we'll just continue to evaluate, and it probably won't be something early on here we'll be rolling with, but as the week goes on, be something we can continue to evaluate and be hopeful for. When it comes to the offensive line and the way they executed, I give Elijah a lot of credit. Has maybe played just a couple practices early in camp at left tackle, and for the most part was at right tackle. And I think he and Book took some pride in really trying to have a great game there, and kind of rise up in the midst of that adversity. There's the big touchdown to Justice where we pulled both the right side, right guard, right tackle. That was fun to see, because I thought there was some physicality on the front side, and then the pull doing a good job of adapting to what the defense was doing, and the trust that I think exists is probably something that's undervalued. The trust from the first puller to the second puller, and also the second puller to our tailback with Justice carrying the ball. So, that comes through repetition. That comes through talking about it. Protection-wise, they got to us early. With this 1 sack, but for the most part, I think our quarterbacks really felt comfortable back there. There was times where we picked up the protection, and I know Jalen had that explosive run there when we were deep in our own territory. that's, a tribute to the offensive line and our tailback all doing their jobs, Jalen trusting it, and when the seas parted, kind of abort the pass attempt and go take off and use your legs, and that's what I love to see from him on that play.
Stay on the right, Charlie.
You've mentioned how you watched all of Jalen's games last year. Just how did you see him progress after the South Florida game over the course of the season last year?
How did he? Okay, I see. From last year's game at this point, yeah. I thought being decisive at the end of the season was something that I was really, wanting to make sure he carried over. Just playing ball, finding ways to move the chains. You get so caught up in this play, you're supposed to read it right to left, or you're supposed to read the safety, and there's so many things with checks. And then there's a point where you just got to go play ball. And I think that that's something that he just got more and more accustomed to, and I felt like that was what he did on Saturday. There wasn't a lot of opportunities. He didn't take that many snaps. He threw it less than 10 times, and so not a big sample size there. But when he did have those opportunities, I thought he took off. I love the touchdown pass to Kalen, where he stepped up, was decisive, had his eyes downfield. He can run with the football, but hit the eyes of the defense being on him, flipping it out there, and making a really accurate pass. And again, those are things that are undervalued. Kalen being able to attack the ball and hit it on the run, kind of having a feel of where the defense was at. There's people at his legs, Kalen's legs. And so that's the difference between a 6, 7, 8, 10-yard gain and a touchdown. So just little subtleties like that, I think, were things I was impressed with Jalen. And, couple times here and there. You only had 2 incompletions, and so you're really getting down to what can we have done on those 2 incompletions. Communication, just always trying to make that better. I thought it was really good, but always trying to make it better. Communication to the line, all the way across the board. Coming on the sideline, I really enjoyed getting with him on the sideline. Thought he was really locked in. The iPads and all of that. I really thought he utilized that to his advantage along with the rest of our staff, both sides of the ball. Really kind of a game changer when you look at it, and getting that instant feedback, that instant information to confirm what you thought happened and be on the same page and be able to move forward. So, again, some good steps, obviously early in the season.
Katie on the left, front row.
Kane talked about how important it was going to be for guys to have to manage their time this week, with this being the first kind of real game week, Sunday to Saturday. Just for most of the guys, it being different, having the Sunday practice, just kind of how did you see them respond to that yesterday, or kind of what was it like them starting their game weeks?
Yeah, I think, early would be this fall camp or even the summer, when kind of I showed them the schedule of what a normal week would look like. They were kind of maybe wondering what Sunday was going to be all about, but I think they went through it and really, felt good about putting last week's game kind of to bed, it being over, and getting a little bit of work in, even to kind of maybe just a couple things that they can identify when they're watching film now that we threw at them or showed them yesterday, just real late in the day. And so, I think they feel like they probably got a head start, and now today's a day where, they're off their feet and really kind of getting their bodies back to where tomorrow morning you turn around, you got a lot of good energy. And so I think they see the way the schedule comes together now to benefit them. And doesn't mean that you can't do it other ways, but that's just how we make it all work together.
Stay on the left here, Ronnie. Go ahead.
Coach, evaluate Wilin Forby getting his first start right tackle.
Yeah, I thought Wilkin, I saw some energy and some excitement out of him. We had some big plays there, and love that. He's, I thought from a game standpoint, very pleased with the steps I feel like he's taken since not just even spring ball, but even through fall camp. It's always about progress, right? It's always about improving, and he is certainly doing that. He's raising his level of physicality, he's raising his level of communication and talking, and being on the same page with Jaden next to him. And so, I thought there was physicality. I think there was some, I used the word decisiveness with the quarterback. I felt like he was very decisive and really never looking uncomfortable on, okay, I'm supposed to block this guy, or, assignment-wise. Coach Cap, I think, had all those guys really locked in, and Wilkin would have been a part of that. So good place to start the season with his effort and execution here after week 1.
Back on his right side, Matt.
Have you seen any extra level of energy from some of the guys who were back from last season for this game after what was almost a disaster last year?
You talking about disaster last year? You talking about the USF game, or we haven't. I think there's a piece they probably remember, but I didn't experience that with them, and so it's not like I'm really drawing on that. Reminding them that it was a closer game, and that falls in line with what one of our pieces of our program is, to respect all and fear none. And so that respect factor was there this last week. It's going to be there again this week, and I'm sure that there are certain guys that went through that, as you're suggesting, that have that a different type of determination on top of what we're trying to do with this 2024 team. But I think we're really trying to make it about this season, this team, and trying to take the next steps that are necessary here going into week 2.
Go to the left side, Tony.
We don't see very many jersey alterations around here. What was the decision to put the C's on the captain's jerseys, and did you get any pushback from maybe some of the real traditional boosters or fans or anything from that?
I haven't, because they probably hadn't seen it and known about it till the game, right? So, but that still hasn't happened since. I think the tradition before, right, was more of the captains at the end of the year. So there was something that you weren't going to do during the season, just kind of something that I've done wherever I've been. We have a unity group, a leadership group. Met with them real briefly here this morning, and just kind of going over the whole week, the weekend, anything that they just wanted to add, where they felt we were at with our mindset in particular. But then you have your captains, and I mentioned before that I thought the team did a great job, and I think it's an honor to be a captain. And along with that, I've always liked to have understood through the C on the jersey, which I think is really cool for those guys to be able to wear.
Stay on the left side with Steven.
Coach, to get 3 running backs into the end zone, what confidence does that do for the offensive line and also that whole running back room?
Yeah, and a couple of them were explosive plays, so I think it's confidence all around. It's confidence that the offensive line will make those seams for you, and the jams play, just a lot of chaos happening out there with our guys hitting blocks and moving people, and jam hitting that seam, and just both goes both ways. If we get our job done offensive line wise, the tailback's going to do his. If I read it right as a tailback, the offensive line's going to fit the blocks up right. So that's running for 300 plus yards. That's something that I don't take lightly. And it's tailbacks, it's Jalen, both quarterbacks actually, did a nice job when their time came to go make plays. And so there's a lot of threats. People, I think, have talked a lot about our threats on the outside, and how that's going to look, and that will continue to evolve as we get more opportunities to throw the ball. But it all, the game was meant to be played one way. You wear pads for a reason. It's because it's a physical game, and so running the football is really important.
We got 2 in the back room on the right. Let's start with Jamie, and then we'll go to Ryan.
Hey, Coach, did Saban reach out to you after the game? And if so, what did he say? And also, I know the priority is on the game itself, but how much are you looking forward to the Saban Field dedication?
Yeah, it's we talked actually before the game. He gave me a call on Thursday, and that was really cool for the guys. And he wanted me to pass along that he's thinking about him and wishing him the best. I'm going to be rooting for him, and you can just tell how much he cares about not just the program but the individuals within it. So wanted to make sure I passed that along, because I think that was important for them to hear, important from both ends. And so and it's going to be an awesome night, having the field named in honor of Coach, and that's really something special. It's one of those things where you're going to play in it and what's happening, but being a part of the ceremony is something the team really can't do. We're in the middle of probably pregame meal and some of those type of prep work, but just to have that, the whole honor for Coach Saban, everything he's done here. I know how much that will mean to him, and And it's something that I know we have a lot of respect for, and going to make sure that we continue to do everything we can to make it our house and protect our field here on out, just like it's been in the 17 years that he was here.
Ryan, go ahead.
She took my question. Coach, the long ball with Ryan Williams, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, you want to see that. Do you ever worry about a home run ball? And when stuff gets hard, in the past, maybe stuff gets hard and you can't make those short passes because you rely on the home run ball. What's your thought on that as the season progresses?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just part of the progression. And the progression took Jalen to Ryan. That's not the beginning of the progression on the first touchdown, and in particular, well, both of them. It was a later part of the progression, and that says a lot about a lot of things. It says that the line did a good job protecting and giving him time with our tailback, and then in both of those routes concepts, Jalen really working through the read and working till the very end. It might not have been the very last on one of them, but it again says a lot, just thinking about Jalen and getting to Ryan, especially on the second touchdown. That's coming across the middle, putting it where it needed to be. Confidence, as a receiver when you're running across the middle like that your quarterback's, not going to put you in a bad spot, so Ryan can just focus on the football, and then breaking tackles too, 2 guys right there. So I don't feel like we rely on the long ball. I don't feel like that's what our offense is about. I feel like it's a progression, but there are usually big play opportunities that are built within almost, really most of the concepts that we have, and situational stuff too. You're trying to move the sticks and you only need a few yards. Maybe there's not as many balls that are going to go down the field. That's just situational awareness for our quarterback and also our play caller. But we want that. We want that threat. We want the defensive coordinator, the defensive side of the ball that we're facing, to always be fearful of someone could get down the field behind them. And that helps us stretch both horizontally and vertically the coverage that we're seeing.
We got time left for just 2 more questions, so we're going to start on the left here with Joe.
Coach, South Florida's known for its tempo. What's going to be the team's approach, and how are you preparing for that this Saturday?
Yeah, we saw changes of tempo this last week, and that's something that we'll be certainly focused on. It's hard to simulate that in practice. We do have, I think, different ways you can do that within your scout team, and communication, substitutions. You got to be really on your game as a coaching staff, and the players being ready to find those opportunities where you can sub in, whether it's a different package or just someone needing a breather. And then being able to get your cleats in the dirt and being able to be ready to, when the ball snapped, get off the ball. That's I think when we were, which was most of the game, able to do that, we got a consistent pass rush and really felt like we executed well. There was a couple times where we didn't have that, and we recovered. We kind of overwhelmed them sometimes this last week, but we need to make sure just we're always ready to play. And you need to get that first step on guys, and so that's what a tempo is trying to do. It's trying to catch you off guard. It's trying to not let you play fast or tire you out. And Coach Womack, he's seen it. He's very experienced. So is our staff. They'll all do a good job of preparing the guys this week.
Ariel, all in the back.
Coach, after you post a shutout win, both sides of the ball doing their jobs, but I wanted to ask you about the specialists and what did you think about those guys on how to continue growing, specifically with the punt and kickoff return?
Yeah, that was, Burnup's just had a really good fall, all in all, and it did not surprise me that he was over 50 yards per kick. Did a nice job all night long. The snaps were all really good. Made all our kicks, the coverage units and everything. Got more touchbacks even as the game was going on. So I think our guys just got more uncomfortable. That was across the board, but it's specialists, especially the new ones that are, the kicking piece that maybe haven't played in Bryant Denny before. Those guys getting more and more comfortable. Those are valuable reps for them. So even just extra points and just feeling what it's like, the depth perception and all that comes along with each stadium. But there should be a home field advantage piece to playing in your own. So all that stuff I thought was done at a high level. And so, they've worked hard for it, and we expect big things out of them all year long.